Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Today, as we continue on the road down our Superman Legacy series, there's been a lot of news lately surrounding James Gunn and waiting on his decision to cast the new Supergirl. I know this video might seem a little premature, giggity, but we wanted to kind of discuss what our thoughts are on whether Supergirl should be introduced in Superman Legacy or whether they should wait for her own movie. I don't know if it's coming out. I think maybe 2026. The
Mm.
Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow.
No, it's not.
Believe
Mhm.
that's the title for it. And whether or not they should introduce her in Superman Legacy, kind of give our thoughts on it and ideas on it. Mantis, what are your opening thoughts?
I don't.
All right, guys,
I
that'll
don't.
wrap it up here. No, I'm just joking.
I don't particularly like. I don't care. Honestly, either way would work. What I think they're going to do is they're going to introduce her in Superman Legacy, and it'll be a post credit scene. Considering the timing of the release of it, like you said in our previous video, was it July 11th? I think, or June 11th. I can't remember what you
July
said.
11th,
Yeah.
2025 is when Superman Legacy will release because that is the anniversary of James Gunn's father's passing.
And so the next year is when the Supergirl movie is supposedly supposed to release. So the timing of that to me kind of spells out if they're going to do it, it's a perfect opportunity to put it in a post credit scene at the end of Superman Legacy of showing Kara or just her. Like I could just see like the post credit scene is like the camera zooms in at a coffee shop, and she's walking in. You see this woman walk in. You don't see her face or anything. You just see her legs with high heels or something. And or maybe they're gonna make her like the gamer girl with like fucking sneakers and raggedy clothes. I don't know. But she walks in and she orders a double frappuccino or some stupid shit.
Pumpkin
And
spice latte.
yeah, pumpkin spice latte would be perfect. And then it kind of, you see the barista face, and she says, okay, yeah, that's fine. What's your name for it? And then it turns around to her and it's like Kara, and then it's like, okay, then okay, and then
Boom.
they're introducing, boom, yeah, type of thing.
So
That's how I would do it if it was me, and if I was going to put her in, like, as a cameo into introducing her into a Superman movie. But as far as my thoughts on what they should do, I don't know. I mean, I want to see, I want to see an actual Supergirl movie before she becomes a bigger part of any other movie. So a cameo would be fine. I don't think she should play a bigger part in the movie like they did in Flash, without actually going to the backstory of Kara and why she's there, what happened. Um, I think that would be a mistake.
So here's the thing. First off, James Gunn's already announced that the actress who played Kara Zor-El or Supergirl in the Flash movie, obviously she's being recast, so it will not be
Mhm.
her.
Right.
But because you already have, like, you're going to have Guy Gardner in there, you're going to have Mr. Terrific, you're going to have several other superheroes in this movie. To what extent they're going to play, I don't know yet. And as soon as we know, you'll know. But introducing Supergirl, I guess because my problem is you run into this when you deal with you run into it in the CW shows, you run into it in Smallville and everything else like that. Is it's difficult to show either Superman or Supergirl struggling with a conflict or something when the other one exists in the same time frame, right? Because if Superman's struggling in Superman Legacy to do something, but Supergirl already exists on the Earth, why isn't she over there helping him? Same thing in her movie. If you introduce her in Superman Legacy, but then in her movie, what struggle is she going to have to overcome that you're like, well, why wouldn't Superman just come help her? Right?
Mhm.
Like that would make the most sense, right? Because we want to avoid property destruction unless you want to do Man of Steel where you level half of Metropolis. You want to avoid casualties. You want to avoid all of these things. So at what point, like, okay, well, even just a mild supervillain, like anybody with any kind of powers, you send the team down, right? If she's struggling at all and they're causing property destruction and lives are in danger, boom, Superman comes in. They I was about to say double team it, but that's gonna sound really bad. But they tag fuck it. They tag team it and they knock it out, right? Like it's done, and they put into it quickly instead of drawing this out where they have this half a movie long fight that levels this. Well, no, you have Superman, you've got Green Lantern's going to be on this world, right? So, it's a fine line you have to walk, right? Because you have to remember, oh, wait, they exist in a world where there is Superman now.
Mhm.
Superman Legacy has already said they're not going to do an origin story for Superman. You know, he's been out since 1938. If you don't know his origins, what the fuck are you even going and seeing the movie for? Okay, jeez, you should know Superman's origins by now. We do not need to see that he came from Krypton in a ship. However, a great way to show what happened on Krypton is to almost make Superman Legacy Kara's origins. Not focus on it, but see the behind the scenes of what happened because he doesn't know. He was a baby, right? He doesn't know that. Oh wait, she got sent as well. That when you do the zoom out of Krypton, you just see a bunch of little ships getting sent out.
No.
Like, everybody launched their childs into the void, and they just hit Earth. You know, like he doesn't know that, right? So like you could go kind of back, or you know, there's a lot of different ways you could do it. I do think it would kind of be better to have her introduced in Superman Legacy, at least to some extent, whether she just shows up on Earth at that point. Because, like you said, if she does a cameo and she's in a coffee bar and all this, so she's already on Earth and has her, you know, obviously she's going to have her powers. Well, whatever conflict that Superman was dealing with, well, why didn't she help out? You
Mhm.
know, that's where cameos can be dangerous because then they make it, you know, Captain Marvel is the perfect example of that, right? Like, where you're just like, well, why didn't she help in this fight if she was on the planet and she knew about things? Like, why didn't she do this? Well, if they show a cameo at the end of Superman Legacy, you go, well, why didn't she? Why is Green Lantern and Mister Terrific and all of them helping Superman out? Why wasn't Supergirl there?
Well, I agree. We think of these things. However, I will say too, like Marvel didn't run into this issue. I mean, no one was like, well, where the hell are these other people when Iron Man's fighting? Blah blah blah. Like, no one cares. No one's like, why isn't Thor talking about where are all these other people? Why aren't they helping? Blah blah blah. Right? There's a one line of dialogue that I read in like Kara like, well, I just wanted to make sure that you could experience things on your own. I can't help you with everything. You have to become your own man. Blah blah blah. You could do whatever in there. I get it. I get what you're saying because even that is kind of like, even if you say that because that's probably what they'll do, right? I'm just like, realistically, that's bullshit. Would not happen in the real world. But we're talking about comic books here, so it's like, okay, a guy does need to become his own man. He doesn't need to be helped every step of the way, or else you can't grow. It makes sense, but it's not how the real world works.
Yeah, but see, I think, and not to get on the woman power trip or whatever, but I think you do that in Superman Legacy for Supergirl, right? Like she is feeling she's younger, so she's feeling like she's in the shadow of Superman,
Mm,
right? And that she
you
wants
do
to
that, yeah.
help, but she can't. So she finally, like in Superman Legacy, she's in there kind of in parts, but she's never able to kind of step out and be her own woman, right? She's not the patriarchy, man, Superman keeping her down, but she just feels overshadowed because everybody looks to Superman. He's the older one. He's the one been doing this longer. So she leaves and says, I got to go find, be my own person. I want to go help. So she's going to move to uh, Coast City or wherever you want to put her in one of like the
Mhm,
opposite side because Metropolis is more East Coast. So like she's going to go out on this side of the world, or maybe she's going to go travel the world or whatever, right? And
mhm,
separate. That's why she isn't in this, but you've already established her on the world, right? And then her movie kind of picks up right from there. Regardless of what happens in Superman Legacy, her movie is going to start showing her going to this new city and becoming her own woman, becoming a hero in her own right. And yeah, they're the country away from each other, right? Two opposite ends of the country. They're not going to go run to each other because they got a lot of shit going on in their own cities, right? So she's not constantly looking out like, oh fuck, he's Superman, he can take care of himself, and he's going to do the same, right? So you kind of set that in the beginning or in Superman Legacy somehow, and then it leaves her set up for her own movie without having to do a lot of backstory. Personal opinion, could be wrong.
Yeah.
So
I'm in favor. I'm personally in favor of keeping Superman Legacy focused on Superman and not introducing Supergirl, any other Kryptonian aside from maybe a bad guy there. I like that. I like the idea of her having a cameo in the Superman Legacy movie, and then in her movie, I like you said, they're not going to do a backstory on Superman and origin story. Totally agree with that. But I do like your idea of showing what actually happened, maybe on Krypton from a different point of view, entirely. And you could do that in a Supergirl origin story. Because not very many people, I mean, I'd say most people don't know the origin story of Supergirl. So you do have an opportunity there that in the Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow at the beginning of that movie, showing, 20 minutes or whatever of what happened in her family on Krypton and how she got there and why she's a different age than Clark is in that aspect when they both left at the same time type thing. Like
they would have had to, right? Because
right.
obviously the planet's
Yeah.
blowing up.
Sure. Sure. That age difference is kind of a weird thing in the story, but it's like
there's something you need to know. Please. On Chris Hansen.
Yeah, you have opportunity to kind of show that, and I like the idea of showing it's not an origin story of Superman, but it is of Supergirl, and you get that, you scratch that itch of what happened on Krypton and whatnot. I like that. I personally would rather to see her character fleshed out in her own movie instead of being a tag team or thing that's going on and in it even a more than like a minute in Superman Legacy.
So the
That's just
only
my
other
opinion.
way, like for me, if you're going to do a cameo and not kind of do the separation like I had talked about, for again, just my opinion, if you're going to do the cameo, the reason she's so much younger than Superman, like her ship's trapped and she was in stasis, and it gets uncovered. I think that's the cameo, right? That explains why she didn't help
Mm,
Superman in his conflict, but then it sets up her movie, right?
hmm.
And then in the
Yep.
beginning of her movie, you do a little bit of touch on where she's with Superman, but then it goes her his own route. She's like, "Well, I need to go experience life now. I've lost so much time, and now she's struggling to become the woman of tomorrow." Like, I feel like if you're going to do the cameo, that's what you do, right?
Mm,
That sets up her
hmm.
movie. It explains
Yeah.
why she's not in this movie. Um, so that's kind of it's one of the two ways. I would be good with either. However, as it turns out, I'm not fucking directing the movie, so they're not going to give a
I
shit
know.
what I say. So, but like you watch these movies, and we've discussed it a lot on this channel, and I'm sure you guys have thought the same thing. But you're like, why didn't you just do this? And you want to say hindsight,
Mhm.
but no, like we have these ideas clearly before the movie comes out, right? Now, if they go and do something fucking stupid, we're like, well, see, they should have done what we said, because again, the people who really love the content and really love the characters are the ones that can come up sometimes with the best ideas. Now, clearly, as you see with what Mantis and I just discussed, we're on kind of two completely different sides of it, and that's okay.
Mhm.
That's why you have these pitch meetings and you storyboard, and you're like, hey, the majority of people think, or we tested this out, this works versus this, and you
Yeah.
take the best of them, right? Because obviously nobody's ever going to agree. Clearly you see Mantis and I don't necessarily agree on what you should do with it, and we're
Mhm.
both huge fans, and we've known each other for over 20 years, right? That's what's going to happen. Everybody has their
My
own visions.
my really only, and this will be kind of my last thought on this, is my only ask would be whatever you do not make this into a woke thing of woman empowerment.
Male privilege is men being celebrated and lauded for repeating the work that women have tirelessly done on their behalf.
If you're going, and again, this is a movie about a female superhero, kind of like Wonder Woman in the aspect, right? The good thing about Wonder Woman that I hope they take kind of they see what they did in that movie and apply it to this movie is I want to see Kara be a strong woman and a strong character. I don't want her to tell me it. Just show me her kicking ass. That's what I want to see. I don't want to see her going to like a boxing match and all of, shouldn't you be up in the ring being the ring girl or something, like just like stupid shit like that. And
that wouldn't happen nowadays. Yeah.
No, like, like you don't need to do any of that. You just show her being a model for young women and young girls. This is what you're supposed to be. Strong. You project strength. You are strong. Like, you just do that. You don't.
I want strong but feminine, right? And I'm not saying she needs to. Supergirl's normal suit was always she's in a skirt, right? And if you watch the Flash movie, they put her in like basically a Superman suit, just tailored for a woman instead of the skirt. Kind of like with Wonder Woman, she's in that skirt in that original movie. I feel like you should stick with it. It's not just because I want to see some really hot chick in a short skirt like that, like Gal Gadot was, even though I do. But like, it's not about that. It's just I like the idea of the classic, because again, you can be a strong woman in a lead in a movie and still be feminine, right? That's the whole point with the skirt with Wonder Woman, right? In the armor that they put her in Wonder Woman 1984. Complete trash, and it's like, oh, we got to cover her up, and but she's still a strong woman because we're going to call it out 20 times in the movie. Complete garbage. Do it right. Make her a strong female lead, but keep her feminine. She is a female. But yes, do it right. Don't do the call out.
Well, it would be. I just want to say it would be like the opposite. Like, I wouldn't want to see Storm in a skirt or a bathing suit fighting people. Like, that just doesn't. No, Storm is in a full
white suit with the damn clothes or the cape thing, whichever. But it's like kind of attached to her wrist, so when she does the thing, it goes up.
That's
exactly.
I don't want to see her in a skirt.
Rogue has a full suit with a fucking brown leather jacket on. Right? It's completely not revealing of her feminine figure, but that's her suit.
That's her character. That's her character.
Stick with it. Like I love in Deadpool 3, they're showing the Wolverine in the yellow suit and stuff like that. Like, I love when they stick to that. We got to put her in a full pantsuit of a fucking suit just because she's a strong, independent woman and she's going to be the CEO of this company. No, just you can make her strong. Wonder Woman is a great example.
Have you seen women like 20-year-old women walking down the street? They're not in pantsuits. They're wearing skanky shit. Like, women today, they're wearing barely any clothing. Don't give me this like nonsense. Like,
But then as soon as you look, they got you on their fucking YouTube channel. Oh my god, he's a creeper. Stuff like that. Just
those gym videos. We're getting off tangent here, but those videos where the women wear basically underwear and bra and panties to a gym, and then they set up their phones to film them because they know guys are going to watch them because they're wearing lingerie in a gym. What do you think? Like, what do you expect to happen? Like, I'm so confused. Like, I don't know.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm probably gonna cut this just because we are going off on a tangent that has nothing to do. I may leave it in and say fuck it because apparently none of you watch the ending of our videos anyway. You've not made it this far. However, if you have made it this far, and I do decide to leave in what we just discussed, the issue I think that's affecting men. Definitely consider giving this video a like, subscribing to the channel for more of the content we've got coming, including the expanding Superman Legacy series that we have running here, and let us know what you think. Whether you think like the way I think it should go, maybe you like the Mantis's idea better, or what is your idea? Like, what do you think they should do? Should they introduce, and if so, how? And just kind of let us. Like I said, we all have different ideas. It's a kind of a.
Who do you think would be this good Supergirl? Who do you want to see cast as Supergirl? Let us know that down in the comments as well, because they haven't done it yet. So, let us know who you think should be cast as Supergirl.
That's an interesting one. Yeah, I'm really curious to kind of see what you guys think and who should be cast as it. So, we're gonna wrap this one up, Mantis. Unless you have anything else,
I'm good.
All right, that'll do it for us for this episode, guys. We will see you next time.
Later.